If you're anything like me and your golf game has struggled over the years, you've probably tried a lot of different training aids out there, and I myself have tried many. In today's video, I'm gonna show you 2 training aids that I guarantee are gonna improve your ability to strike the ball and play better golf. Yes, I do guarantee that these will work. And the best part about these is that they're not expensive and they can be found at pretty much any local hardware store and or any local drugstore. And that first one is gonna be Dr. Scholl's foot spray. And the second one, which I've gotten from a video of Bryson DeChambeau, is some blue tape that you'll find at your local hardware store. I'm gonna show you how these 2 things right here have improved my game dramatically. Let's do it right now. All right, a lot of what I'm gonna be working on is my fundamentals. Really gotta get back to the basics, back to the fundamentals, right? So first things first, we wanna get our alignment sticks down because alignment is super important. Without it, we will consistently adjust. And then I just use my alignment stick cover and set that down to kind of give myself a foot position. These are just some basic rudimentary tools that you can get at your local hardware store or your local drugstore for, $5, $2. That'll help you understand how to do this indoors. And even if you don't have a net like this, you can still do this with a foam ball or with no ball at all. We're just trying to work on low point. And I'm just gonna set this one full ball length, a little bit less than a half a ball length right behind the ball that I'm striking. And the goal with this is if I obviously hit behind it, the tape will come up immediately. I'll know I hit myself a fast shot. And I'm just gonna go through and I'm gonna start with 54, just a little sand wedge, gap wedge, whatever my wedge is. And I'm just gonna do what feels like to me little half, 3/4 swings. And I'm just gonna try to put really good contact on the ball. And then also our foot powder spray. So let me focus on this and try to get through it. And there we go, third strike, caught it a little heavy. And as you can see there on the face, obviously rode up it. So I'm gonna repeat this process and start over again until I can at least get to 2 in a row. That thing was a full inch behind it, so it's obviously an area I gotta work and improve. And the frustrating thing about this is that you constantly have to get back down here and reset this tape. All right, so that was a full 10 strikes. And one of the things I'm noticing as I get through striking this is tending to be a little bit more heel heavy than I am center of the face. So that's just something I want to be aware of, and I might spend a few more reps trying to practice this and kind of get a feel for it. And if I'm hitting it a little bit more heel heavy, I'll bring in my other training aid, which will help me kind of get it a little bit more on the toe side. All right, I'm sure many of you down this lens know what this is. It's a yoga block. This one obviously is something that Tommy Fleetwood uses because he struggles sometimes too with striking his irons a little bit more out the heel. So he puts a little yoga block in front of his practice station. And I'm gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna keep working on this until we can better improve our ability to strike the ball. Getting more towards the center, just working out on the fly what that feeling is, try to give myself some feedback so I can hit my crisp wedge strikes. And as you can see out there in the center of the face, a lot more centered on the wedge strikes, something that's gonna give us a bit more consistency and give ourselves the ability to just hit better wedge shots and obviously find our target. All right, next on the docket is an 8-iron. We're gonna do ourselves full swings. That wasn't the brightest idea. Same thing here, just trying to get to 10 in a row. Got the ball position in the exact same spot. Want to make sure I'm getting through my same setup, same routine, same everything. Right away, caught it fat. As you can see, mostly center contact with the full swings. A little bit lower on the face, obviously just working on trying to get my weight a little bit forward, but I'm not too overly concerned with it. If we're hitting in that area, we're gonna be pretty good with an 8-iron in terms of contact, but I would love to see that get a little bit higher up on the face. I think I'm about a groove or two, just a little bit too low in that striking, but for the most part, pretty good center contact. Obviously I hit one a little bit high and out the toe. Scoring iron, wedge, and then obviously a full iron. And do this process if you've only got 45 minutes to really work on a swing, set the numbers that are gonna make sense for you, and that's how you obviously continue to get better at strike. Ah. There you have it. That's the drill, and that's the thing I've been working on inside of my garage for about 30 minutes a day. I start with a wedge, a mid iron, scoring iron, and a long iron, and I just try to go through that process and see if I can get 10 in a row, hitting the center of the face, not hitting it fat. And over time, I found that my swing and my fundamentals and everything that I do with my setup has just naturally improved because I'm focusing on the skill of striking the ball correctly and hitting the ground after I collect the ball. When you focus on the fundamentals, which is hitting the ball somewhat in the center of the face, collecting the ball first, and then hitting the ground after, the other parts of your swing just tend to fall into place. If you can't do those two things consistently, then it's probably best that you go work with a coach, figure out what's happening and what you can do in order to, one, hit the center of the face, and then also, two, make sure that low point happens after the ball. And now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's move on to the putting part of the video, because this is another thing that I've been working on, as you saw in my last video, where my putting really needs to get a lot of improvement. And I actually found out that it was not as difficult as I thought it was going to be. I'm gonna show you a really basic thing and a really basic drill and setup that I've been working on that has dramatically improved my ability to make putts inside of 9 feet. Let's head over to my putting station and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Something that many of you down that lens, I'm sure, have probably already seen. They're in like everyone's houses. These perfect practice, rolling mats that are like 8 feet and they have the hole in the middle with the lines. I think it's a perfect thing because it gives you the ability to kind of see a straight line and kind of get set up to it. But I'm also gonna be using something additional today. And that is my putt out putting gate. It could be any gate, but this one happens to be the small one, which is 50 millimeters wide. And for whatever reason, this one's actually off-centered the way they printed it. So putt out. I don't know if I'm gonna tag you in this video, but that's a quality control issue right there that y'all probably should have fixed. Neither here nor there. And this here is a 50 millimeter wide gate. Now, I know they have 50, 55, and I think a 60 millimeter, but the 50 millimeter specifically is the one that I use because if you are able to roll the ball through this gate at, I believe, about 14 inches, that means you're able to start your putt within a half of a degree. All right, so as you can see down here, I have my 50 millimeter gate, and obviously because of this, practice training aid, it's a lot easier to tell how much further back 12 feet is or 12 inches is. So I just set it back about 14 inches off of behind the ball. It doesn't really matter what your stroke looks like. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. If you can consistently start the putt on line in the first foot of the putt, you've done all you can. The next part of it obviously is working on speed control, but I work on this a lot here in my office when I have breaks and I have this station set up so that I can consistently work on this and I don't have to spend as much time working on my stroke. So what I'll do is I'll just start off and set this thing down here with a line on it at 12 inches behind the gate, and then just go through my normal routine and process. Gripping my club, doing my setup, getting into posture, and then I'll just try to hit that through. That was hit really hard, but I'll just go through this and try to do this 10 times in a row. And I'm not really focused on anything in this other than just making sure I see my line straight and that I hit my ball on the right line. And you can tell that my floor is not 100% level. I'm not overly worried about it. I can see it wobbling, not end over end. Could be the ball, could be the tile, could be 1,000 different things, but over and over again, then you're gonna be in a position to hold more putts, because starting it online is something that a lot of people just really don't do. And if you can start it within half a degree, you're gonna be online to hold a lot more putts. And I feel like the more I do this, the more confident I am that I can hold more 6-footers, more 7-footers, more 5-footers, and it takes a lot of stress off of my short game and just makes everything else easy. 50mm gate, I'll put a link in the description below to some cool ones that I found on Amazon, also the putt out one that I use if that's the one that tickles your fancy, and then that way you can purchase one for yourself too. All right, there you have it. Those are the things and the drills that I've been working on in order to improve my game, and I can tell you that it has tremendously improved my results just focusing on the basics. And when it comes down to a golf shot, at the end of the day, what the golf course is asking you to do is to deliver the club face to the ball in a reasonably centered contact with the face pointing at the direction you want the ball to go, and hit the ball and the ground after. Like, that's essentially what a golf shot is. Obviously, there are other parts of putting and playing golf and shaping shots that are, important to scoring. But if you can't do the basic fundamentals, which is hit the center of the face, hit the ground after the ball, or if you can't start putts on line, it doesn't really matter what the advanced techniques are. You can't do those basics, you're not going to play good golf. So I guarantee if you work on these fundamentals, as I have, and you consistently stick to them, you are going to get better. Your ball striking is going to improve. Your ability to start putts on line is going to improve. And as a result, you're gonna have a lot more control over the ball, and you're going to be able to get it closer to the hole and in the hole faster and more frequently. That's all I got for you down that lens. Thank you very much for watching my YouTube channel. Deuces, people. Let's keep it moving.